In this example, we're going to graph y equals 3 times the cosine of 2x. The process is a lot like graphing our sine functions. As long as we remember just the general pattern is a little bit different, we're starting at a maximum instead of a minimum, that is the only thing that's changed in the process. So just like before, I'm going to identify all of my special values. I'm going to identify the amplitude, I'm going to identify the midline, I'm going to identify the period, and I'm going to identify the phase shift. So the amplitude, that's still given by whatever the a value is, so the amplitude is 3. One thing to keep in mind is if this were a negative 3, just like with the sine function, I would reflect this graph, and now starting at a minimum, not the maximum. No positive or no negative sign, so this is going to start at a max still. The midline, I'm not adding anything or subtracting anything, so the midline is y equals 0. The period is given still by 2 pi over b. And in this case, the b value is 2. So 2 pi over 2, or just pi, is my period. And then my phase shift, I'm not adding or subtracting anything inside of this function, so I've got no phase shift here. Now, one other key thing that I should figure out is the key intervals, and that's given by taking my period and dividing it by 4. So that's pi over 4 is each of my key intervals. So essentially, my period should last pi radians, and I'm going to chop up into pi over 4 chunks to plot my key x or my key points. So okay, let's put some stuff down. I'm going to go up to 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then down to negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go out by pi over 4. So we'll say that's split this up into quarters here. So we'll say that this is pi over 4, pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, and then pi. And then the same thing with the other side. Okay, now we're ready to plot this thing. So all I need to do is follow my general pattern. I'm starting at a maximum, then going down to my midline and back up again. So I'm going to start, I've got no phase shift, so I'm going to start at x equals 0 at the maximum, and then follow my pattern. All right, so hopefully that went okay. Really not much different. As long as we know we're starting at the max, everything's the same as the sine curve. So why don't you try this example here. Pause the video, give this one a shot. Make sure you're paying attention to all the different values at play here, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, so here's my answer. I had to graph this thing as the cosine graph shifted down and reflected and then moved to the left. So I've kind of identified all of these properties here. Hopefully you can make sense of my graph. I'm starting at this negative pi. I'm starting at the minimum because of this reflection, and then I've moved this thing down with a midline of -1. So hopefully that one went all right for you.